The next gun we're going to talk about is Combat Precision's M5. So Combat Precision has been building guns for, many years. I remember I had gotten a 45 from them, single stack 9mm, which was just an amazing gun. Both reliability and accuracy out of that particular platform was great. Before I go into their new version, which is basically a double stack 9mm gun, 2011 style. The last time I did anything with an M5, Steve Fisher and I were down in Florida. A student loaned us his, back then it was a stick shift M5, and I hadn't driven a stick shift in years, and was like, hey, go enjoy it. Because I had asked him, how fast have you had this car up to? And he said, I think 110, which is actually a sin at that point. You're not allowed, you cannot have a car like that and not know as fast as it can possibly go. So with that said, I think we hit 120 out in front of Subway. And then we got on a little 2-lane road where, of course, if you know Steve Fisher, then you know he's a bad influence. This is why we're not even allowed to be at a Cheesecake Factory because of, him and I. Well, I mean, it was a together thing, but nevertheless, by the time we were done, because we're running out of road, we, I think, hit 168, which was awesome. That was my last experience with an M5 up until now. First things first, anytime somebody mentions Steve Fisher, you should already know it's not going to be good at all. So let's talk about Combat Precision's, and this is hard, man, for you to just really see the sexiness, M5. And we'll start to break down the characteristics of this gun right here. All right, so a couple things. I love this size. First of all, it's a little more practical for carrying. It is a aluminum frame, so it's not steel, which makes it a little bit more lightweight. The fit on this thing, you're not gonna wobble that slide back and forth at all. Starting at the front of the gun, you can see right here, that's the front sight height. It's not some retarded sight that sits up this high, which mind boggles me that we haven't figured out a way to get the optic to sit extremely low, except a few companies out there actually have. And this is built into Chris James's M5 as well. That's the rear sight. And the reason why I'm showing it to you, because I just want you to see how low profile it is, how it fits with that hollow sun, just clearing it, that 508, which works real nice on this gun. Of course, it'll accept any of the RMR styles of optics as well on this particular gun. You can see skeletonized hammer. I'm a big proponent of ambies, especially if all of a sudden something happens, you get hit. It's much easier to disengage the safety on the same side. So I really like that. I also like right here how he's put in, both for righties and southpaw, a little bit of an index spot right there. I really like that. I enjoy it. Nothing kills me more than to have a custom gun nowadays where I've got to put skateboard tape right there. I mean, it's the equivalent of taking a bolt gun and putting foam on a stock now and wrapping it with duct tape. I think we're beyond that point. So I'd really like to see a lot more manufacturers put this on these styles of weapons. I'm gonna break in a couple other attributes that I really like personally, and I'll break them down for you. He offers this in a full grip, and he also offers it like this, which is a configuration that I have. And what you'll see here is when it breaks away, that's what you're looking at, okay? Now, some people might think, oh, I'm gonna have a hard time doing speed reloads. I haven't had any issues, but I'm not gonna lie. I mean, if you're running a magwell on a 2011 solid gun, it makes it a lot easier. I like this because it keeps the gun for carrying as low profile as possible. The grip, it's got a very aggressive texture. If you're on the computer a lot, like a 9-to-5er, or if you drive a Chrysler LeBaron convertible, then you may want to ask Chris to kind of tone the sides of the grips down. I still like it aggressive up forward and back, but on the sides, if you're not used to a gun that's got a very aggressive, let's just say a Glock that's got a very aggressive stipple job, this might be something that you want to think about and address with him. It's really the only kind of negative that I have on the gun is that some end users, if you get that grip the way it normally is, it's pretty aggressive. Now, if you're going to be open carrying this gun the majority of the time, then I think the grip is perfect. And the reason why is I'm not worried about my shirt getting hung up on the grip or anything like that. So again, everybody's a little bit different, but that's the one concern that I would have, and that's really easily addressed when you're talking about a custom Smith like Chris. So let's look at a few other attributes on this. It'll be kind of hard to show you, but you can see the way that trigger is right there. And man, when you get on that trigger, you can feel it. I mean, you're not slipping off of it. You're not a little high. As soon as you put your finger on there, man, you can really get a good purchase on it. This will again be kind of hard to show, so I'll do my best. But one of the things that I like is there's a little bit of right here, you're at the wall, which I like. It's very definitive. And then of course, once you start to commit your trigger finger to it, she's gonna break. As far as reset goes, somebody will have a heart attack if I drop it. The reset's nice and short. I'm already reset and I break it again. The trigger, that's, you know, the benefit to a 1911, unlike a Glock generally, if we start to go down in the weight of the trigger pull, so we try to take a Glock from a 5.5 down to like a 3-pounder, what also generally we have to do is take the reset spring down as well. They have to be balanced out. Of course, then you get into other issues like light primer strikes and whatnot. But on a 1911 style of guns or the 2011 style of guns, one of the cool things is I can drop the weight of that trigger and still have a very good reset on the trigger. And that's a benefit to, in my opinion, to having a 1911. So I think just based on the pull and the reset, man, he really hit it out of the park on that. And he has for all the other guns that I've had that over the years that Chris has built. One of the other things that is important to me because I ride really high is there's enough slide release right there for you to get a good purchase, but not to where if this hand gets high up on the gun right here, as I'm gripping it, not to where it pushes down on that slide release. So a lot of times guys like the extended slide releases, but if you have big paws and this hand comes in there, and when you're gripping it like this, what can happen is this hand can be pushing down on that lever, which would just mean that you wouldn't get a traditional slide lock reload for an emergency reload. So again, I like the fact on most of my 1911s, I always ask the guys, please cut this down. I only need enough lip there in case I've got a lock for a traditional double feed. That's it. Just give me a little bit of lip on the bottom, flared, but not on the top. So all in all, what you're gonna find is you're gonna find that this gun, when I first got it, I think I ran 800 rounds through it. Whatever lube he had on it, which wasn't much, I put 800 rounds, and then you could tell she needed a little TLC like any style of gun like this would. However, after breaking the gun in and after cleaning the gun and actually putting some oil on it, because like I said, however he sent it to me, it really wasn't, it didn't have much oil on it. And I always like to get a new 1911 and run it hard like that, specifically to see where is it gonna fail. So now you're getting, as long as you keep it oiled, I'm getting a good 1200 out of it at least before I need to break the gun back down. And that's just me knowing these styles of guns. They're not gobstoppers. They need a little bit of more loving as compared to something like a Glock. All in all, any of, honestly, Combat Precision's guns that you get, you're gonna fall in love with. And I guarantee most people that own one of Chris's guns own multiple guns. So I think that speaks for itself. A lot of amazing work. Again, one last look at all the details. That 508 really just, it's sexy on there. I know a lot of people are gonna ask me what holster do I use. I just happen to use a Tier 1 concealed holster. So this is their appendix carry holster right here. I like it because you can adjust these up and down a little bit and give yourself a cant. Also, this wing will move up and down. And then of course you can stack what you'll see right here, thickness, depending upon how much you want to kick this in. So the great thing is, if you already are running something of a 4-inch 2011, it's going to probably fit those holsters. So it's not like you're going to have to go out and get a new holster if you already have one for, you know, a 4-inch, say staccato or STI or something of that nature. What you are going to quickly see out of this gun is the accuracy, the reliability out of this gun, what you're able to do shot wise because of that accuracy, like how far can you really stretch this. And at a certain point, a gun like this just kind of is cheating. So for those that are big 2011 fans, I think you're gonna love this platform. And unfortunately, it's not one of those kind of guns where Chris just has them sitting in stock. So you're gonna have to get on a wait list. You're gonna have to get on a build. You'll start finding that all good things, you gotta end up waiting for them. But at the end of the day, they're worth it.